Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Do English. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Before we move on to the lesson, please hit on the subscribe button and notification bell so that you're instantly notified every time a video is uploaded. So in today's lesson, we will learn about adverbs. This is the fourth lesson in our series, Parts of Speech. What is an adverb? An adverb is a word or phrase that qualifies a verb, adjective, or other adverbs. Now, there are different types of adverbs. The first one is adverb of manner. Adverbs of manner describes the way an action is carried out. Now, there are three different ways as to how adverbs of manner can appear in a sentence. The first one is they can usually come after the main verb. For example, the girl walked quickly. Notice that in this example, the adverb quickly comes right after the verb walked. Secondly, they can come after the object. For example, she stepped into her room quietly. Notice that in this example, the adverb quietly comes right after the object, her room. Thirdly, they can come before the main verb for emphasis. Example, he carefully opened the package. Note that in the sentence, the adverb carefully appears right before the verb opened. Careful opening is emphasized here in the sentence. Now, adverbs of manner includes the following words: cheerfully, cautiously, awkwardly, carefully, closely, badly, deliberately, correctly, calmly, beautifully, etc. Adverbs of manner mostly ends in ly. Exceptions include hard, well, late. Adverbs of time. Adverbs of time describes when an action occurred and how often or the duration of an action. Let us look at the adverbs of time in terms of when an action occurred. These adverbs are usually placed at the beginning for emphasis or at the end of a sentence to show neutrality. For example, yesterday I was at my cousin's place. Notice that in this sentence, the adverb yesterday happens at the beginning of the sentence, and this is used to emphasize time. I am going to the movie tonight. The adverb tonight happens at the end of the sentence and is used to denote a neutral position. Now, the words that expresses adverbs of time would be now, daily, later, yesterday, tomorrow, last year, etc. Now let's look at adverbs of time in terms of duration. These adverbs usually indicate the time duration. These adverbs are usually placed at the end of a sentence. For example, I was at the beach for a few hours. I have not seen Miriam since last week. I was outside all day long. Note that for and since are usually used when we talk about time duration. Now, the words that express time, adverbs of time in terms of duration would be days, week, year, century, all day. Also note that when using more than one adverb in a sentence, use them in the following way. Firstly, how long, how often, and when. For example, I go to the library for an hour every day in the evening. Let's look at adverbs of place. Adverbs of place tells us where an action happens. They include direction, distance, and position. Adverbs of place appear after the main verb or after the object. For example, I went nearby. Notice that the adverb nearby appears right after the verb went. She found her doll outside. In this example, the adverb outside comes right after the object doll. Some of the word that expresses adverbs of place would be in terms of direction, place, and position. North, upward, downward, around, forward. And if you're talking about place, we could use the adverbs nearby, far, away, miles apart. Position would be the words like below, between, above, behind, through, close, here, there, underneath, on, in, outside, inside, etc. Adverbs of place include words ending in ward. For example, eastward, onward, upward, downward, homeward, etc. Also note that the words here and there are used at the beginning of a sentence to express emphasis. Here you are, there you go. Now let's look at the third type of adverb, adverbs of frequency. These adverbs expresses how frequently something occurs. Now they are divided into adverbs of definite frequency and adverbs of indefinite frequency. In the case of adverbs of definite frequency, these adverbs are placed at the end of a sentence. For example, I get paid hourly. I exercise daily. Now let's look at adverbs of indefinite frequency. If it is an indefinite period of time, the adverbs goes before the main verb or after the auxiliary verb, such as to be verbs have, must. Let's look at the following examples. I usually go to the mall. Note that in this example, the adverb usually goes before the main verb go. The second sentence here is I always drive to work. The adverb always comes before the main verb drive. Let's look at the third example here. I have always driven to work. In this example, the auxiliary verb happens to be the main verb. So we have the adverb always that goes right after the auxiliary verb have. Note that sometimes adverbs of frequency can appear at the beginning or at the end of a sentence to denote emphasis. For example, occasionally I bring lunch. I get to meet her very rarely. Adverbs of frequency is expressed in the following words. Always indicates 100% of the time, usually indicates 90%, frequently 80%, often 70%, sometimes 50%, occasionally 30%, seldom 15%, rarely 9%, and never would be nil or 0%. Now the fourth type of adverb would be adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree tells us the intensity of something. Adverbs of degree are usually placed before the adverb, adjective, or verb that they modify. Now the words that are used to describe adverbs of degree would be thoroughly, absolutely, totally, utterly, practically, perfectly, enough, awfully, enormously, simply, quite, purely, just, almost. However, we have an exception here. Now, enough comes after an adjective or an adverb. For example, this dish is good enough. Notice that in this example, the adverb enough comes right after the adjective good. Now, the last type of adverb would be adverbs of purpose. Adverbs of purpose describes why something happened. They help connect sentences together. Adverbs of purpose consists of the following words: so, because, hence, thus, since, so that, in order to. For example, I had some free time, so I went for a drive. I went home since my classes finished early. We are here at the end of our video. I hope this lesson was helpful in understanding adverbs in detail. Please remember to subscribe, share, and like. Your support is immensely helpful in bringing out quality content. Also comment below. I will see you all with another interesting video.